Pioneer Press, and BEC TV.
And it drops! The game is over! Forrest Blake wins 1-0 in the bottom of the 10th. Brett Gravel is the hero.
Catch all of the action all season long on your home for Southwest Metro Sports. PSB Media.
Brady shoe up from his defense. We'll leave it for Graham. Graham works his way and scores in overtime. Michael Graham with the game.
Game time is coming up next.
Test. Test. Test.
Test, test, test.
Yeah, now it looks like we have our audio going. Thanks for sticking with us here on PSB. Our coverage of Eden Prairie and Wayzata hockey right here on PSB. As still early in this game, scoreless with about 14 minutes left. As Wayzata will try to throw it on Sean DeRocher, who's making the start tonight for Eden Prairie. So both teams kind of feeling each other out so far, Mike, as not many scoring chances thus far.
No, they're playing nice and conservative hockey here. They are really definitely just trying to feel each other out. Both teams are very similar in matchups here.
And did just test. We do have our microphones working now, so thanks for bearing with us for just a moment. Here's Eden Prairie working their way into the Wayzata zone. Long shot from Lieberman. Rebound chance from Tyler Safran, and his shot sails just wide. I guess I'll recap in just a moment some of the storylines we were talking about when our mics weren't quite going. But yeah, basically, here's the story in tonight's game. This is a very important Lake Conference and Section 6 game. Wayzata enters 10-8-2, Eden Prairie 12-8. Now, if you look at the QRF and the media rankings, Eden Prairie is actually listed as the top team in Section 6. But the problem for the Eagles, though, is that their record against section opponents is just 1-4 this year. So that could have some impact in terms of coaches' seeding. So very important here for Eden Prairie to try to come out with a victory. Wayzata, if they win this game, would certainly put themselves in good position to clinch at least one of the top 3 spots in Section 6. So a lot of interesting stories here in tonight's game. Again, Wayzata won the first matchup of the year against the Eagles by a 4-2 score. That was back on Thursday, January 15th. Trojans in the offensive zone. Long shot from Zimmer. Rebound, no goal. Somehow that stayed out of the net. We'll see if we can catch the replay on the fly with our split screen here to give you a look at how close that came to going in. The Trojans trying to strike first in this game. Meanwhile, Eden Prairie has it in the offensive zone. They tried to throw it out in front, but it glanced off the skate of a Wayzata player.
That last opportunity is definitely going to give Wayzata here some momentum here on a rush here.
When we have a moment, we'll tell you about the goaltenders in tonight's game. Well, there's one of them, Sean DeRocher, stealing that shot outside from the Wayzata Trojans. Jocelyn Graham will hit it over to Brady Shue. Shue to play it over to Mark Sullivan. Sullivan will saucer that in to the Wayzata zone. Alex Schilling slowing it down for his defenseman. Sending that across was Carter Spindler. Now out at center, that's Argetsinger is being pressured. Now it trickles back behind the cage. Eden Prairie trying to send that up ahead to Nolan Sullivan. Off the body, here's Casey Middlestad, and can't quite hold his own. Tried to zip a shot in against Alex Schilling, but Argetsinger not quite able to hold his own. Looking at the goaltenders for tonight's game, Sean DeRocher makes a start for Eden Prairie. He's 8-6 with a 3.24 goals against an 893 save percentage, but he's had his struggles over the past few games. In fact, over the past 2 contests, he's stopped just 38 to 47 shots, which is only an 803 save percentage. So Coach Smith and the rest of the Eagles hoping he can find his groove since he was really playing good hockey earlier in the season. Wayzata will counter with Alex Schilling between the pipes, 8-6-1, 2.5 goals against an 899 save percentage. Also has 2 shutouts on the year and stopped 24 of 25 shots on Thursday against Hopkins. Behind the net against Wayzata is Grant Anderson trying to dig it out now along the advertising on the far side. It does trickle outside the zone, goes off the skate of Sorensen, possible odd man rush, but very solid defensive play there by Tyler Stevens as Middlestad was ready to lead an odd man rush. Here's Middlestad, gains the blue line, doesn't have a lot of support, still works his way around to Hank Sorensen check, throws it out in front. Lieberman holds it in. Lieberman had a goal against the Trojans in their first contest a couple of weeks ago. In fact, Lieberman's goal against Wayzata broke up a streak where the Trojans had shut out the Eagles for over 120 consecutive minutes, dating back to last season. Kind of got the monkey off the back in the last game for Eden Prairie, but unfortunately for them, they still came out on the losing end with, again, Wayzata winning that game 4-2. A couple of notables for the Trojans in that game. Sorensen had a goal and an assist. Dingman also had a goal and assist for Wayzata in that victory. Off the face-off, it'll be along the near side wall and flipped up outside the zone, and icing going to be waved off. Will be picked up back behind the net by Bill Duma. Bill Duma having a good season, 7 goals, 18 assists, and 3 assists against the Hopkins Royals back on Thursday night. Hustling for the puck. It'll be picked up by Wayzata in their own zone. And passed across to that left side. And, oh, somehow, boy, I don't know how that didn't hit a stick or a body on the way, but the referee calls icing. With 10:14 to go first period. We're scoreless from the Eden Prairie Community Center. And thanks for tuning into our broadcast this evening as we're getting down to the home stretch here in high school hockey. Just, I think, 5 games left. Hard to believe how fast that season goes, but I know you're a baseball guy, Mike, so at least means warmer weather's on the way.
Definitely warmer weather is on. But I'm also a hockey guy too. I enjoy watching hockey.
It's unbelievable sometimes how fast these winter hockey seasons can go. It feels weird that we can already be talking about section seeding and section implications. Wayzata will dump it into the zone. Here's Louis Rail from behind the net. Rail on his forehand will get that up ahead to Mark Sullivan. He'll backhand that to Michael Graham, 2-on-1 along with Bolden out. Here's Graham up, trying to the point. It's Nick Rail. Rail pushes into the end wall. It'll be picked up by Carter Spindler.
Good job of that player for Wayzata to cut off that passing angle on that last rush.
Rail from the corner. They'll lose it as Wayzata has possession at corner. Trying to dig it out. They'll get it up to the point to Sorensen. Sorensen goes across. Sends it back near side, but Eden Prairie's there to intercept. Back to the Wayzata blue line. Here's Zimmer circling around that Eden Prairie logo, and we'll just lost it for a moment. Now it's still out neutral. It'll be dumped in by Grant Anderson. 1 goal, 4 assists on the season for just a freshman making the varsity team for Wayzata this season. The Trojans actually have 2 freshmen on the team. Griffin Ness is the other one. He has 2 goals, 5 assists. Not often you see freshmen on these varsity rosters in the Lake Conference. The only one I can remember in recent memory for Eden Prairie was Michael Graham. A couple of years ago had a good freshman season for the Eagles. So it certainly shows you have a bright future when you can make varsity as a freshman in Minnesota on a good program like Wayzata or Eden Prairie. Off the draw, it's pushed back to Nick Lieberman. Try to bank it off the wall. Q having some trouble clearing it. Here's Stevens on the forecheck, tying up his fellow number 2 shoe. Now taken over by Casey Middlestad. Dumped in. Sullivan will chase it down for Eden Prairie. Sullivan throws his weight around behind the net. Now it's Wayzata banking it out along the near side. Trickles back in. Here's Hank Sorensen. Sorensen, a guy who's kind of in the middle of things for Wayzata. Very similar to Edina's Parker mismatch. He's an offensive force, but also one of those guys who's not afraid to throw his weight around. I was telling Mike in pregame how on his team photo, he actually has a scowl and a black eye. How do you like that?
Just showing how tough he is with this being a team.
Most guys would say, black eye, oh, wait a few weeks before you take my picture. But Hank Sorensen says, no, show off my toughness.
Bruce's definitely help get the ladies out there.
That's right. So. I was just going to go there too as well. Yep. Bruises get the ladies. Well, while you have a moment, I'd like to remind you, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at PSBMN, and at PSBMN is our Twitter account. Find the latest on West Metro and Lake Conference hockey, among lots of other sports. We streamed our first wrestling event on Thursday, a triangular between Eden Prairie, Minnetonka, Wayzata. You can find all sorts of updates on Lake Conference and West Metro sports on our Twitter at PSBMN. There's a Wayzata player trying to go without his stick. That's number 15, Nathan Dingman. Now, Mike, I'll ask you a question about that in just a moment. Here's Eden Prairie maintaining possession in the zone. Long shot from Andy Aguilar. That gets blocked. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you, Mike. When you lose your stick on the ice, I know some coaches have different philosophies, but do you go to the bench or try to play without it?
I try to play without it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on the far side of your bench.
I think you're in the minority on this one. I know a lot of coaches say skate to the bench, but it is a topic for some debate. Unfortunately for Barta, didn't come back to burn the Trojans at all. Here's Lieberman from the corner. And just misfired on that outlet pass to Brett Boldenau. That's a little skirt down the length of the ice for an icing call. With 6:45 to go here in the first period on PSB. You can also shoot us a message. Our inbox is announcers@psbmn.com, announcers@psbmn.com. Just your thoughts on this game. Let us know where you're listening from, who you're cheering for, and maybe some thoughts on how both teams can try to come away with a victory in this very important Section 6 contest.
Back to your point, yeah, that's a good point, but at least you have a body out there. You can still block a puck and get in the mix of things.
If you're a soccer player too, that certainly helps, I suppose. Into the Wayzata zone. It'll be picked up by Carter Spindler. Not a whole lot of good scoring chances so far, which isn't too surprising when these two teams hook things up. Oh, they tried to get the tip in front to Brett Boldenau. Couldn't really get it in very good position though. Here's Michael Graham. Graham feeds it to the point to Lieberman. Somehow was able to thread that through, but it got deflected wide. Over to Graham in the near side. This line looking good here of Graham, Boldenau, and Mark Sullivan. Lose it though, and here's Wayzata getting it out towards center ice. It'll be dumped in as the Trojans are off on a change, as are the Eagles.
A lot of neutral zone play right now, not really going either way here.
And when these two teams hook up, they don't really have a lot of high-scoring games. In fact, the JV game we just saw before ended in a scoreless tie, even with playing overtime. So, kind of the way these two teams have usually gone when they've met in the past. I know going back to the last contest, which was won by 4-2, that was actually one of the more high-scoring games we've seen between Wayzata and Eden Prairie. The Trojans came out on top in that last game. 5:40 remains, first period. Middlestad and that second line on the ice here for Eden Prairie. He's trying to work his way outside the zone. Shu had his pocket pick, still loose out on the doorstep now near the dot. Still trying to fight for that loose puck. Pops up into the air. A hot potato there. No one wanted it. And now Sorensen. Oh, it takes a crazy bounce and a heads up to Rocher. There to cover it up. Elects not to hold it for a face-off. Then makes a fancy snare with his glove out of the air on that slap shot by the Wayzata defenseman. Boy, take a look at this bounce from Hank Sorensen on the replay. That is a weird deflection. I can't tell on the replay what it deflected off of, but
good reactions though. DeRozier has been struggling a little bit lately. It's good to see him react to something such a goofy play like that. Good response, getting his reaction and timing back.
Yeah, and then of course just moments later making a nice glove save on that slap shot. So that's good news there for Eden Prairie. DeRozier playing well. He was pulled in that Hopkins game that Eden Prairie won 6-5 after giving up 4 goals. But talking to the coaching staff, they didn't have any concerns about DeRozier. They just said kind of one of those nights that goalies sometimes have. Man. It's true at any level where the goalie will sometimes have a game where they're just not seeing the puck very well, and that was the case in that Hopkins game for Sean DeRozier.
That was a nice little hit there. Put him right on a seat there. Take a seat, buddy. Even there's no bench out there.
The ice is your only bench, and that one's not very comfortable when you get sent to that so-called bench, if you will. Third line on the ice at Safgrin. Hunter Johannes, Alex Pizon for Eden Prairie. Johannes gets thrown out of the circle. Pizon will take the draw. It's won by the Trojans. Shot from the point, tipped out in front. Can't steer it towards the net, though. Now from the corner, it's Eden Prairie. Getting that out towards the Wayzata blue line. Here's the forechecking Alex Pizon trying to put on some pressure. Johannes also again at that wing. This is kind of the hard-working line for Eden Prairie. Safgrin's kind of been on just about every line this season for the Eagles. He has 3 goals and 8 assists. He's been a wing on the first line, I think a center on the second line. Now he's centering the third line. And good at the line. Here's Shu from the top of the circle. Schilling able to scoop that up for a face-off. Just over 4 minutes left to go in the first period.
Good job by the Eden Prairie lunch pail line to get it in the zone. And put some nice little opportunity here for the next line to come in off the face-off.
the draw, still fighting for that puck. It's on the doorstep, but Wayzata gets there first. And now it's going to be Luke Patterson, who are going to have 4 goals against Hopkins. He's coming in playing some good hockey for these Wayzata Trojans. But Wayzata's kind of hovering near that 500 mark this season. They've been right around there, but they do have some impressive wins on their resume. And performances, they beat the Eagles earlier, and they also tied Hopkins way back during the Turkey Trot tournament in November. That tie against Edina, I should say. Edina technically won that game in a shootout, but there are no shootouts in high school, so it goes down in the books as a tie. Wayzata able to flick that outside the zone, and no icing, so Louis Rail's going to have to pick it up from the corner. Rail sends it to his defensive partner, Andy Aguilar, and now it gets sent out of play with 3:15 first period. We're still scoreless from the Eden Prairie Community Center. At least the type of game I was expecting to see tonight. Low scoring, not a lot of scoring chances. Wayzata's always been known as a very good defensive team, but they have been a little bit more high scoring in years past. They average 3.7 goals per game. Their goals against also a little bit higher than they've typically been in the past, but still a very solid 2.55 on their goals against as a team. Eden Prairie, on the other hand, they average 3.9 goals per game, and they gave up 3.2.
That stat's kind of a little disconcerting, appearing when the Eden Prairie has a lot of tough scorers there.
Nice to Rocher. Nice job to see that shot from that's number 24, Jake Volk. That long shot through some traffic, but I think you agree, Mike, Sean DeRocher looks very sharp tonight. You see that shot through some traffic. DeRocher able to read it the whole way. You can see there are a lot of bodies out there in front.
Definitely. Look at that. Yep, he was nice and low, but he was able to see it, and also great job of making sure he keeps that rebound.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. He hasn't given up many rebounds in tonight's game, which is key. I'm sure the team very happy to see DeRocher looking like that he's back on track here in this game. Not to say he played poorly against Edina. In that game, DeRocher did stop. If I have the numbers here, I think it was 28 of 33 shots, but defense didn't really help him out too much against the Hornets. Of course, Edina's always one of the top teams in the state, so no shame in giving up 5 goals to those guys. As it looks like the Hornets and the Lakeville North Panthers are on a collision course to play for the state championship yet again.
Not if you're Eden Prairie, though. They hate losing to Edina.
And
that's just pride there.
There's Lieberman. Oh, in front. They tried to get the rebound. It's still loose. Schilling's down. Doesn't have his stick. His stick is still gone. We'll see if Eden Prairie can take advantage. Wayzata here just going to try to ice it or get it outside the zone, and a very important clear, as that will allow Schilling to get his stick back. In the meantime, it's Wayzata in the offensive zone. There's a tackle from Nick Lieberman. And we are going to get a penalty on that tackle from Nick Lieberman. Mike Grant would be happy with that form, the football coach for Eden Prairie, but doesn't quite work for hockey, though.
No. Got a nice low stance and was able to distribute his weight evenly. And pow. Pow right into the penalty box.
Thought you were going to make the Family Guy reference pow right in the kisser.
Right in the kisser.
You remember that episode?
Yes.
Wayzata's power play's been good, but not great this season. They're at 25%. Eden Prairie's PK currently sitting at 79.2%. Seems like the whole year they've just been hovering right between 77 and 80% on their PK. And it's loose out in front, and now we get a whistle. With a minute 41 to go here in the first period, and we'll go ahead and get our power play clock synced up. There's a minute 47 to go on the Wayzata man advantage.
Didn't quite get a good look at there, but I think DeRocher did take a nice seat on the puck there to save it from going in.
Off the face-off, it's one back to Hank Sorensen. Sorensen and Zimmer at the point on this power play for Wayzata. Back to Zimmer. Zimmer leaves it in the slot. Oh, and that one took a deflection but goes wide. That was Duma putting on the pressure. Trojans maintain possession and Zimmer at the point. Zimmer to Duma, and did Duma hold it in? Referee says yes, he did. And now it's taken away by Eden Prairie and cleared out as the Eagles will switch their penalty killers. There's Wayzata working their way into the EP zone. Oh, fancy move there by Zimmer. Goes across to Duma. It's loose out in front. DeRocher gets back in position as the Trojans weren't able to pull the trigger. That was a great move there by Zimmer to work around the Eden Prairie defense just a moment ago. Noah Deraney seeing some time here on the varsity squad on the penalty kill, trying to swat it away. Now it's in the near side corner with 41 seconds on the power play and just over 30 seconds in the period. And we're scoreless here from the Eden Prairie Community Center. That shot Parham's off the end wall. Now they try to dig for it on a wraparound. It's still loose. Clear to Sorensen. Had a lane, but fanned on a shot. And now Hugh Trumpy will clear it away for the Eagles. Now Hastings lost it in his skate. It'll be time for one more rush here with 12 seconds for the Trojans. Across the blue line they go. It's loose in the slot and then deflected to safety by Eden Prairie. And now, it goes through the legs of Max Zimmer, who is ready to fire a last-second shot, but that'll do it for the first period. As we're scoreless from the Eden Prairie Community Center, Wayzata will have 5 seconds of power play time carrying over into period number 2. We will take a timeout and give you a recap here of the first period. This is Lake Conference Hockey here on PSB.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean Pizza, Tavern Turkey Burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served 7 days a week. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
I wish it was spring.
Hello, Carl.
Whoa, who are you?
I'm the Mulch Store Genie.
Well, your entrance music makes you sound like an alien.
We Mulch Store Genies survive on grass and compost, not snow and ice.
If you're a genie, where's your lamp?
Mulch Store Genies live... Never mind you. Let's get to the point. You had a wish for me, Carl.
Yeah, I wished it would be spring.
Your wish is my command.
Sweet, this is much better. Wow, my lawn looks great too.
Indeed, Carl. That's the power of the Mulch Store Genius.
Thanks.
Tell your friends of my mulching powers.
The Mulch Store, granting beautiful lawn and landscaping wishes since 2000. Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee.
I really loved this book. Me too. What was your favorite part? The beginning? The beginning was good. Did anyone actually read the book?
I really like this wine.
You don't need a book club to drink wine with friends. Great wine and globally inspired food at Noodles & Company, your world kitchen.
right. Double check.
Row your boat.
Gently down the loser stream.
That's what I'm talking about.
Doesn't this hurt?
Not with those puny arms.
You don't just lift dumbbells, you drink them. No, come on.
That's right. Feel it.
Hello, muscles.
The whole thing?
Yeah, when you're finished, you can eat this up too. Congratulations, Adam.